And if we don't, we'll just continue it in the information section of the board meeting. Excuse my voice. Bow and pray with me, please. Father God, we're so appreciative of your presence here with us this evening. We'd ask that you descend in this room and place your hand on our shoulders, guide us, lead us, hold our tongues to work for the people that we serve. And thank you for the blessed name of Jesus, your Son, that you gave us to save us from our sins. And we ask these things in his name. Amen. What about it, Harry? How are you? Glad you made it. All right, here we go. So this is the 5 things. I don't know if I have a 6th one in mind or not, but this is what we put out there and got a full agenda tonight, so it will be a relatively long night. Can you hear me is the sound coming through on live stream? Okay? Nodding your head. All right. Continue sales tax review. So, the ups and downs. So you see April came up 13%. Just the nature of what it is. And I still believe, going back to December, which is a reflection of what was done in October, that some of that is accurate, where we sliced off some businesses that were here in Brandon. And I believe the rest of this, you're going to see it begin to pick up through the year as we go. So that's a good sign, and we just want to see that continue on. Last year, I'll point out, in June was the first time we'd ever gotten over $800,000 in general sales tax. So you see last year, May, June, July, and August, all up there good. So the 2% was down, though. The other side of that is, I like to remind everybody that every time you see a 2%, there's 7% tacked on top of that. So when we're this money's coming to us, there's another 7% behind that that's reflected in that first number. And then the third number that is just a number, we did this, we passed this 4 years ago as kind of a building block of what Brandon was going to be in the future when we get these other 2 new hotels on. But you see an increase here, and it's simply because we've got 2 hotels that have renovated, and you're beginning to see those numbers come in now as people come to concerts and stay. I've got family that stays in the one of these when they come up for ball tournaments. Street resurfacing, want to spend a lot of time on this and go through it very slowly and make sure everybody understands. So Tim Martin and Alex and Matthew and I spent quite a bit of time going over this list. I sent you this. You've had a list of the streets. I'm going to break it out a little bit differently because I need to explain a couple of things, and then I'm going to spend some time on how the financing works on this. But this is a list of streets that we're proposing for the 2026 street resurfacing plan. Now, when we put this out, if you're agreeable to this, when it comes up on the agenda tonight, we put it out for bid. We don't know what the bids are until we get them. I would really like doing this in November and December because asphalt people can step out there and make a good bid and kind of book that business behind them. Now we're kind of looking at getting past July. So we're setting the groundwork here to develop a set of bid packages that we will bid out, and then that on some financing as well. So there's a second group of them, and all that total comes up to a little over $3 million as an estimate right now. You don't know till you do it. I can tell you that we did a very big street resurfacing plan several years ago, and we took the entire water department and created 2 attack crews going out. So our city employees did $1 million worth of work doing pothole and base repairs, digging it out ahead of the asphalt companies, which saved us a lot of money too. So we're going to do that again. Hopefully there's not as many miles in this, so we'll stay ahead of them. If we can get to work on this and the board's agreeable, that we'll start working on those base repairs. So you go out and find the weak spots, and you dig it out, you fix it and come back up and make preparations for the asphalt machine. We have had situations where asphalt machine would sit down because there wasn't any base underneath it. So this is the map that came out. I didn't like that map a whole lot, but it is indicative of what we want to do. Now the big blue one up top is the one that's over 2 miles. I think it's like 2.25 miles long. That street has been in the city since 2006 and has never been paved. It was a county road. It does have asphalt on it, but it's got a lot of repairs that we've made on it and that kind of thing. So this would be a significant improvement up there. Other side of the highway there, Hillcrest going back in there, we need to do that as well. So hopefully we'll get it in the future, and this is beginning to catch us up. Then you see a splattering everywhere else, and I'm going to explain that splattering. So tend to break it out like this. You see groups. Now, asphalt companies, they like to, it's efficiency for them as well. So if you look over there in the blue on the left side, if you can keep streets close together where they don't have to travel a long distance, then they can do it more economically and give us a better bid. If it's just happenstance here, there, and yon, it costs us a lot more because they have to move around a lot more. The other side of this is that a lot of these streets have never been paved. That's Timbers 1, if you will, and a little bit, one other street up there in, what subdivision is that, Lou? On the left up there that goes down, that ties into Pearl? Thank you. Okay, so you see one number there. The green is, it's been over, I know it sounds crazy, Harry, but it's been over 10 years. It's been almost 12 years since we went in there and did some of those cul-de-sacs in there. The cul-de-sacs were in real bad shape when we went in. We did all those base repairs, and this should not be as expensive or as time-consuming because we have good base in there. So we're going up Summit Ridge. Weren't able to do that last time, and that's a big improvement for Crossgates. The red in the middle, there are two streets there that have never been paved. We got a new one down at the bottom. That's the escape route out of downtown, another way to get out. I'd like to improve that down North Street to there so that there's a fender bender or a wreck or something happening in downtown Brandon. You've got 4 ways to get out as opposed to 3. And then Warner Drive on the top end, that's a major improvement for them. I think it's time to do that. I think just about every lot in there has been built out, so you don't have construction traffic in there anymore. And then the bottom right. The bottom right is a lot of hodgepodge stuff. So the hodgepodge stuff comes from not doing things consistently like we did on the other side of town. You're not doing long stretches. You're catching streets that we just didn't have enough money to get last time. But the idea is to start in Cannon Ridge, come out of Cannon Ridge, hit Acadian Court, come down to Glen Artney, come down and catch one on Dixon, and come down and catch the one on the very end. So that kind of makes a sweep on that end of town. So that's the methodology of asphalt companies traveling around. So when you run those numbers, that's about 500,000 in Group 1, 1.2 in Group 2, which is sorely needed. All this is sorely needed and identified as either failing or failed streets. The Warner Drive street is a $500,000 street. No other way to say it. It's a $500,000 street. That should not be shocking to everybody. It's been on the board, except maybe for Jeremy, but we've had other $500,000 streets. Glen Arbor was a $500,000 street. Music Well Road was a $500,000 street. And those 2 streets we did in Sunchase last year, to the right and to the left of the entrance, that was a $500,000 dig out and replace it and fix it. And we did, and it's time for that to go in there as well. And then Group 4 is just a splatter, and you make a loop, short runs, 2 days, that asphalt company would be out of there, knocking those out. So we're moving along. So then where's the money come from, which is really where I want to spend more of my time here. Now, we've done this 3 times. This is going to be the 4th. This is, but you don't see it but every 2.5 years, so it's foreign to you. It's the reason why I want to slow down and go very slow to make sure we all understand, make sure Alex understands as we work through this. So the funding comes from the Infrastructure Modernization Act, which was passed in 18. See on the left over there. The green lines you see in the red were what was projected the city of Brandon would get out of that act. This is the internet sales tax. Mr. Baker doesn't like to call it that. Nobody does. They call it the use tax, internet use tax. Actually, what we receive is a check in January and a check in July. So those are the 2 lines under that, and you can see every check that we received coming across to the last check that we received in January of this year, which was $1,264,008. Far exceeds what we were anticipated to get, which was $700,000. So between the 2 checks, if you look at last year of FY25, in total we got $2,358,000. So we're anticipating. We don't want to step out there and award a bid yet, but we're anticipating in July that we're going to get a check that's 1.2, 1.3, maybe even 1.4 million. So that's going to double that number there. So that's where the money comes from. This board made a decision early on that we were going to use this money for streets, and we've been dedicated to that so far. So this is graphing out. The green was what we were projected to get when the law was passed. The yellow is what we have received. So looking at the last 3 times we've done this, the first time we borrowed $4 million and we paid it back over 5 years, FY 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So we paid back $845,525 across those years. When we got to FY 23, we began to look at the amount of money that was coming in and what we had to work with, and we could see down there at the very bottom that we were getting 1.9 million. So we doubled up again, and we put that money into streets again, and we did it again. So that was, we borrowed $2 million for 4 years, and that was a Series 2022 bond. We do these with local banks, so that money stays right here in the community. Put it out, I think we had 6 banks bid on it last time. Then you come forward again another 2 years, we did $3 million for 4 years, and that's the blue you see going across there. So what we're trying to do is stay ahead of the anticipated revenue, and I think it's working relatively well, doing just what we want it to do. So then I'm going to propose that we do that again. We have paid off all of those every year. Come along. If you look in FY 26, you see a red X at the bottom on that blue. That one was paid off. That part of that debt was paid off in January. All that's left in FY 26 is $641,000. So we have that. If you look up at the top up there, you see we got, in fact, I've got current numbers of what's in that account in just a minute. So we've got that. We'll pay that off in June, I believe, and then we'll get the next check, and we'll know exactly how much money we've got in hand in that account. Just a reminder, this is specialized account. We can't take this money and go over there and buy an ice machine at Parks and Rec, or we can't do renovations here at City Hall. This is strictly for infrastructure. For cities, we can use that money on water, but it's primarily for streets and ditches, and storm drains is where that money was dedicated to. That's why it's called Infrastructure Modernization Act. That's what the legislature put in there. They gave cities an opportunity to use some of it if we needed to on water. Got a plan for that coming down the road as we go. Counties also get this money, except it's tied in the number of county miles and the population, if I'm not mistaken. So that was paid off in February. That bill was, and now all that's left is what you see in the column under FY 26. So we'll make this payment in June, and we'll have another interest payment in August of $37,263 in the rest of this year. Then you can see what's laid out in the years ahead. So focusing on what's in that green box, if we've got an interest payment, I'm going to recommend that we move forward and we add to that so that we can go forward with this $3 million overlay plan. This is the balances that you see. Infrastructure Modernization Fund on the 20th is $1,216,000 is what's in there right now. We have a final payment on the Series 2022 bond, which is $641. That'll come out. That leaves us $574,000. And then we're anticipating a July check from the Department of Revenue for $1.264, which would put us about $1.8 in the bank in cash. So 1.8 is not going to get us over $3 million. So I originally had factored this out at a $1 million for 2 years. It's 500, 2 paybacks, 500 and 500. However, I forgot that we did a project in Raintree and Cornerstone that ate up money. So that, I can't remember what that was, 250, totaling them both up together or something like that. Kind of pulled us back a little bit. So I went back and added a third year in here for $500,000. We can get into a situation when we go out there and start doing base repairs ahead of the asphalt crews that we have to spend a lot of money digging out and fixing base repairs. Don't know what that's going to be until you start running that road good. So don't want to go to zero in an account, so I'm recommending that we borrow $3 million. So there's 2 avenues that we need to work on here. One avenue is asking for permission to develop bid documents on these streets and get that out there and get a bid put together to come back to you with. The other one is to advertise for bids for $1.5 million for 3 years to all our local banks. Both of those take some amount of time, and we'll get through that. And the idea is that we get to July with both of those, what bank bids are and what bids are for you to consider. And then we look at the check that we get with the 1.2. And between those three things, then we'll be able to make an intelligent decision about going forward. So it's a matter of 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is what's going to be left in the account when we pay this year's $600,000 out. Number 2 is what we anticipate having in there when we get that check. And number 3 is borrowing 1.5 to get over $3 million to do a street overlay with. So that's kind of the financing plan going forward. Any questions on that? It's on the agenda tonight. We're not asking to spend that money. We're asking you to allow us to develop bid documents, both for bank and streets, so we can advertise that and hopefully arrive at that point in time in July when we can award that bid with money in hand. Quarry Trails Grant. How you doing, Commissioner? You all right? Okay. Want to make sure. 546, Quarry Trails Grant. All right, so this is our second most grant. We have spent quite a bit of time, had a lot of input over the years, and just been dragging because we're not going to eat up all of our money doing something on a recreational side like this. But we got this grant. It is just about an $800,000 grant, 3-something and 3-something. I'll have that number in just a minute. Spent a lot of time doing wayfinding signs and things like that. Critical to us is a restroom facility out there. I think this would be nice. That thing has been pared down twice and signage out on the road. I think this is a nice addition. The reason why I like these state grants is because we can use our work as match against that. We don't have to put money. The easy way is to match it all with money and be done with it, not have to touch it. The other side of it is, doesn't matter about a mini hose skid steer, crushed concrete that has a value of $32.50 a ton, whatever work and whatever resources we put into it, we can use that as our match. So that's kind of the dollar breakout that you see in that grant. It comes up $661,000. Half of that is on them. It's a 50-50 grant, local and state. So that match we would make up as much as we possibly could. If we didn't, we would just come up with $148,000. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather come up with a match that we're putting in sweat equity and work. Current balance on 2%, just so you know, is $778,310.87. Showed you earlier on the other slide, that's coming in about $140,000 to $150,000 a month is what's coming in to the 2% fund. So we'd like permissions to go ahead and bid this and get to work, get bid documents, get bids back in, and consider that for letting that and going forward. Got an idea, 2 ideas. Matthew and I spent several moments talking about this. 2 ideas for you. I believe Jeremy asked a question of Kaiser when he was here. Did you do any cost estimates about what these improvements would cost? And that was a no, I hadn't done that. So I'm going to ask you, if you would, to let me develop a project and tell Benchmark to go forward with the 2 ideas we have here so you can ascertain which one you want to do. So this is traffic numbers that Kaiser got for us at the intersection of College Street and 468. Kind of look like that's good engineering hoopla there, right? So you look at it, you look at this, AM peaks 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning, 31% of that traffic coming down College Street turns right. Now this is the one I like. I think this is the most feasible and the most economical. South, you look at it in the afternoon, 4:30 to 5:30, 44% of that traffic turns right. It's not going straight down College Street. So I've sat there at Hastings before and just watched. 4 vehicles in a row would pull up there and stop. The other 2 lines go, and then they turn right on 468. Seen it repeatedly. So this one, to me, makes more sense. However, a couple of you said we need to do a mini roundabout. Well, the problem with a mini roundabout is you got to do it 4 ways because there's a driveway on the other side. Then what are you going to do? This is just me. Then what are you going to do when a semi comes through? Because that has to be built that a semi can drive over it. So if a semi is going to drive over it, what do you think teenagers in a pickup truck are going to do? They're going to drive over it too. They're not going to make a loop around it. So I see that personally as something that's going to slow traffic down more than it's going to pick up traffic. But I would say if you want to do a cost analysis of what both of those would be to build, then you give me the go, and we'll get permission to do that, and you can look at it and see which one you want to do, if you want to do either one of them.
The Kaiser study said that would reduce congestion by 60%. I'd be curious to see what your plan would reduce congestion.
My common sense says that makes more sense than the other. But I'm agreeable to fact, if you want to put because you can, either way you go, if you go this way, you can still come back and add the lane on the side. And I don't know how much right-of-way you're going to have to buy here. But that can be assessed, and you can figure out what the cost of that is.
No, I'm just saying, we know what a traffic expert said about the roundabout. I'd like to see what a traffic expert says about your plan.
Well, that's his plan too. I'll get that from him. He drew that. That's his, not mine. No, he got in a hurry, and that wasn't in what he brought to you. Both of those are his. But I'll get that for you. I don't know. Nobody's ever done an assessment or a survey of the intersection to determine actually how much right-of-way is there. So I can't answer that. But we can find out. Y'all want to generally say get to work on it, and I can run some numbers? We just need to be able to pay them for their work. Okay? Farmers market opening. Andy has kind of said this. So May 16th, they want to do it after Mother's Day. One day, open only on Saturdays for now, weather permitting. So it's weather permitting, initially open only on Saturdays. And that's the area that it's going to be in. So we've had a lot of discussions about sales tax and who does this and who does that. And still they're geared up for it and rocking and rolling from there. All right. Y'all got any questions about the streets, about those two things? We got about 4 or 5 minutes here. Want to add something to the agenda, I'll be glad to get it going, or I can just tell Matthew to go on it, but I don't want to be paying him unless you say it's okay. All right. Any questions on that? Did that make a little bit of sense? Please? Okay. If you look out, since I have just a minute, if you look out and look at FY27, which is next year, if you look at the blue and the green, that's 1.3 million just between those two. That says one check that will come in will cover both of those. So we'll be ahead of the game. So head in the right direction, and we'll keep it headed in the right direction. So it's been very successful for us. Reminders, just stuff that you can talk about. We paved 104 miles of our 140 miles of streets. And I didn't look to see how many miles this was, but we're making headway. The other good thing is when you're doing it right, like Summit Ridge or some of these others that had 2 and 3 layers of asphalt, when you did it right, now you come back, it'll be a lot smoother and a lot quicker because the base underneath is in good shape. All right, then we will stand up and stretch our legs, and we'll get started here in 5 minutes with the board meeting.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
On the resurfacing and the milling, I saw that you had that, whether it was going to be milled or not. I've noticed some streets over the years where we have not milled, and it's gotten to be 6-8 inch higher than the driveways.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that we're...
Where we have, or where it was done before we got here? It's like Summit Ridge had a gap like this from the concrete pan, and it was just a layer of asphalt, and we've 4 mill cycles, took all that back down to come back up. Yeah. So you're not creating that drop off. And we do keep all that milling out there. I don't know if y'all see it when you go by, but almost all the milling is gone, over half of the grind. You know, we'll be setting up later this summer, hopefully to start grinding the rest of that concrete. So that once we get that done, then we shift out to North Street. All that will go out there from now on, instead of being on Marquette Road. All right, 5 minutes, stand up, stretch, and we'll get started.
Thanks, like that.
Thank y'all for coming this evening. We have a commissioner here that's going to pray for us, and then I'll do the pledge. Appreciate you coming this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Please bow. Lord, we come to you today thanking you for one more day, Lord. Thank you for the traveling grace to get here, Lord, and thank you for the traveling grace to give us to return home. We pray that we find our homes safe and blessed, Lord. And today, as we conduct the business of the city, please give us your will and your spirit, Lord, and help it to permeate through us for the will that you have for the people here in Branson, Mississippi. Lord, we just want to say thank you for all the blessings you've given us. Thank you for the responsibility you've given us, and help us to shoulder the burden of governing this city in your will. In your name we pray.
Amen. We'll turn to face the flag. Salute. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right. Commissioner, I know you want to talk for a minute. Anyone else here this evening like to make public comment? Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir. If you would, tell the board who you are, just in case someone doesn't know you.
Thank you. My name is Michael Wolf, and I'm a resident of Brandon for many, many years now. I've raised my family here, practiced law for 33-something years, and now I'm running for Chancery Court. So I looked around the Chancery Court judge, to be specific. Looked around and realized there's more than 20 people here tonight, and said, wherever 20 people gathered, some politicians will try to make it big. In any event, I just thought I'd jump on tonight and let you know that I'm running, and I thought my first stop along the way might be Brandon. If you'd asked me 10 years ago if I had any interest in running for Chancery Court judge, the answer would be no. Who wants to be a Chancery Court judge? I want to be in the big courts with Mark Baker, all the people doing the big important things. But then I had a change of heart over the last few years. All things happened to me personally and professionally, and I realized something. I genuinely believe now that the most important things are happening over at the Chancery Court. If I can spend my life doing things that I believe are important, then I would say that's a life well served. Regardless of whether I win or I don't win, that's my dedication. Got the qualifications, got the experience. I think got the heart for it. And I'd just like you to share it with your friends. That'd be great too. Share my name, Michael Wolf, and for Chancery Court, Judge Franklin. The election's in November, so I know you're not going to run over there tonight, put it on your to-do list, but thank you.
No, thank you. Anyone else like to make public comment? All right, Commissioner. Floor is yours. You would grab that mic. You almost have to kiss it to make it sound right. And, you know, and I know you will.
Well, good evening, everyone, again. I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight. I thank you for the work we do. It's definitely not going unnoticed, the hard work and dedication that's happening here in Branson, Mississippi, which is a template of what can happen in other places. Sometimes you look at what you're doing and don't think other people are looking or paying attention, but people are paying attention because the work you're doing is impactful from this beautiful facility that you have to all the work that's happening right here in Branson. You're pushing forward, moving your economy forward. Again, for those who don't know me, my name is Keith Sam, and I serve as the Central District Court Judge. And I've had the honor and privilege of serving many of you in different roles and capacities. I have with me Mr. Jared Morris. He is in charge of economic development for the Central District. And I served with the mayor on Central District Development Issue Board for several years. And Brandon is special because you got great leadership and you're doing well. I just want to give you some ideas of what's happening in the state. At the Public Service Commission, we regulate the investor-owned utilities. Now, we don't run the company. I can't call a lineman that doesn't come to your house and your lights go out. But we do regulate the industry, basically setting rates for new infrastructure and things like that. Much of which is happening right here in Rankin. You're growing your economy through the utilities. And when we ran, we set a goal of doing $100 billion of economic development. And we've not quite met that goal yet. We're at about $85 billion of economic development, some of which is right here in Brandon. And I know a hot topic of things that we discuss in the Public Service Commission right now in the data centers, which Rankin County's owns one of them. And everything needs effective governance and economies of scale. If you don't govern things effectively, bad things can happen. So we're governing things effectively and handling the business of the city of Brandon in an effective way to safeguard the negatives from being super negative, but accentuate the positive, because in the old days, you could have a little server room in your back of your business, put an air conditioner in there and a couple servers, and that was sufficient to handle the computing and network needs of your business. Well, in today's society, the business models are different. They need more data capacity. So what we've been doing across all 22 of our counties, look at all of our industrial parks and seeing where we can increase industrial capacity. But the data center that you have here in Brandon is going to be the backbone to all of your industry development. From your hospitals, to schools, to your industry. Every industry is using data centers. But it's just going to lean on the effective governance of your body and ours working together to ensure that no negative impacts happen to the citizens. And be as open and transparent as possible in that process. Because there are things to be questioned, there are things to be cautious about. But from our level and your level, the more open and transparent we can be, and the more long-range and visionary thinking we can put in place, it's going to make us make the best decisions possible. One of the other things that we're working on is increasing the population of this state. Right now, we got about 3 million people in this city. Well, either we're going to grow or we're going to die. All of our counties must look at everywhere you can grow your population. One of the key things for growth is going to be industry and housing. Many of our young people that are between 18 and 40 don't have the ability to purchase a house because they don't have the economy to do that. So we're going to have to look at how we can house our people. It's a shame that folks in Nashville, Dallas, and Atlanta are doing more planning for our young people than we are as a state. They're mapping out how many folks can we pull from Mississippi to grow their population, and we should be managing our population and making advantage of growth. So I encourage you to take a look at your land use and your zoning and see where you can grow the population at this time, so that it can grow beyond where it is. You're on a track, on a pace to double your population over the course of the next 30 years, and it can be done. It just takes more of what you're doing and putting, some long-range planning in place, because growth and development is going to happen at the local level more so in the future than it ever has before. The federal government is basically broke. The state government has brought their taxes down to a level that there won't be too many more Christmas tree bills coming down the road in 5 to 10 years. It's going to be on local government to command the economic development course for the future and put yourself in a position to do that. What are some of the things you've already done, but if that burden is going to shift more to local government to be the driver of economic development for the future. More users are going to help everybody out. Retaining your population, growing your population is going to help everyone out, because we're an aging state. We have whole counties in the state with less than 7,000 people. We're a very aging state, so cities like Brandon are going to have to grow, and all our cities have to grow to maintain what our people need to be. So I'll yield for any questions anybody has for me. We work hard every day trying to figure out ways to increase the reliability of our utilities, affordability, and make sure that folks have access to them. So I'll yield. I talk all day about my job. I'll yield for any questions anyone may have for me about the work we do, or just general questions altogether.
I know you being aggressive and working, pushing energy, for instance. They've got a lot of aged infrastructure in there and poles and things like that. I know because we've spoken about We're a little bit shy on power here, and a little bit shy. It seems like we're outgrowing our utilities, our gas, all the way down the line. And sometimes I wonder that they're having trouble catching up with us.
Well, you know, we were blessed. The greatest generation came back from World War II to consider America up to being. They dug sewer lines, water lines, dug wells, and we lived off that for a long time. Now it's time to reinvest and make those same kinds of investments so that our children and grandchildren can be more stable in the future. One thing I would suggest is the demand for power is growing in Brandon. We have to start looking at some production because we need to produce power in Brandon so that we can maintain that, and it's pretty economically prosperous to produce power in the city. A lot of times people call it different reasons. My number one job is ensuring that you get the appropriate amount of money in taxes from utilities. Franklin County gets about around $7 million. I think Brandon gets about $318,000 of that every year. But power generation, power storage, that's probably the next big step for Brandon, generation of power in Brandon County for the need of the city.
What's your number one complaint?
Number one complaint? Energy is about 90% of my service calls in our office. And we work through it. I don't run the company, but we do put a lot of pressure on them. Part of the negotiations for the Amazon deal was about $60 million a year for 5 years to put into reliability from the proceeds of that investment. And that's moving it forward. We got a lot of work to do. Many cases, the infrastructure that's put in place has been the same light pole in your front yard, or the same light pole that was in your front yard, they put power in your yard. And so, the aggressive pole management and distribution lines and transformer management is critical. One thing the city can do to generate more revenue is connect with our office to make sure that your county is getting the proper assessment for the utility investments that are in your county. Every transformer, that's dollars for your city. Every substation, that's dollars for your city. If you can upgrade that equipment, it needs to be reassessed. And I would also say, look at your fee and lieu deals. You know, when you're looking at these fee and lieu payments for economic development, see what the deal is, but then also look at what it would have been without a fee and lieu. Make a good decision there, because I don't believe that a business would, I don't think we need as many decisions as we got. I would believe that. We press a little harder. We could yield more dividends. These folks are spending tens of billions of dollars. They don't care about a water bill or a light bill or even a property tax bill. So going forward, I think we should yield a bigger hand in that negotiation process.
Commissioner Brandon's fixing to be 200 years old. We got more dead infrastructure in the air, both cable, phone. If I had one gripe, it would be help us get rid of that stuff.
You're right.
Now, there's got to be some way to start getting rid of all that stuff. It hurts us. It hurts our image, and it just it's a blight. It's blighted utilities. So that would be a complaint from me.
So nothing.
Good deal. Good.
Questions about utilities in any of our districts, questions about what we do? One thing that I will say, everybody's going to have to become an economic developer. When I was in the city council, my highlight was a rabbit on the corner of Down Road and Raymond Road. Because I looked at that lot, what happened right here? And I encouraged each and every one. It was my first project. I created 32 jobs. I just thought I was golden. And but look at your districts. And you know your district better than anybody else. Anywhere you have a good corridor, and you have quality electrical, water, sewer, broadband, natural gas, and good cell phone service, those are the 5 pillars of economic development. If you have those, and any of your corridors are precedent for high density housing, or light manufacturing, and creating jobs, new economic development is going to be all. Hands down, because the state doesn't have a vantage point that you have the ground vantage point. The state's not gonna be in a position to make those decisions. You will. And your knowledge of your local area is gonna be invaluable to the type of board.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, my contact information is on there. We used to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We changed things around. Now we work 8 to 8, 7 days a week. So, give off the policy leaders and you're always here to serve. And thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll work on through the agenda. Anyone else? Public comment? All right. Need a motion to approve the work session and regular board meeting minutes of April 6, 2026.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sharon Womack. Who said second? And second by Mr. Jared Crane. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, under the mayor, 4 items. Number 1, permission to move forward with advertising for bids to complete the most grant awarded to the city of Brandon. I showed you some pictures of that. Number 2, permission to advertise for local bank funds to support the 2026 street improvement plan. Number 3, permission to develop bid documents and advertise for bids for the 2026 street improvement plan, engineering-wise. Number 4, consideration to accept the retirement of Jody Compton effective May 18, 2026. Yes. Motion to approve, Mr. Luke Coker.
Second.
Who said that? Who said
Sharon.
Second by Jerry Crane. Any comment on those questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Ms. Mary Ann?
Good evening, everyone. May I take these together?
Please.
Consideration to approve professional services agreements for the purposes of promoting tourism in accordance with House Bill 1521 and other lawful and related purposes. Authorize the mayor to execute the same and approve payment of all show-related expenditures. FTS in the City of Brandon, Rebel Rooster, Inc. in the City of Brandon, EC Touring, City of Brandon, Gary Allen Tours in the City of Brandon, Big R in the City of Brandon, TRE in the City of Brandon, Chicago Live Events in the City of Brandon. Number 2, consideration to approve budget amendments to the fiscal year 2026 annual budget and publish the required notice in the newspaper. Number 3, consideration of adding Deputy City Clerk Rebecca Peavy as an additional signer at the Community Bank regarding the City of Brandon's amphitheater checking account. Number 4, consideration to close the following bank accounts at Community Bank. These accounts have 0 balances and their projects have been completed, House Bill 603 and Senior Services. Number 5, consideration to approve the restated plan document for health insurance with Hub International and authorize the mayor to sign the document. Number 6, request permission for Rebecca Peavy to attend the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Compliance Workshop hosted by the Mississippi Development Authority on April 30, May 1 at the Mississippi Agricultural and Forestry Museum. Number 7, consideration to approve the docket of claims and the Fox Everett claims. Number 8, the monthly report of privilege license.
Thank you, Ms. Mary Ann. Is there a question on any of those? Or a motion to approve? Motion by Ms. Sharon Womack.
Second.
Second, Mr. Jerry Crane. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, board. Thank you, Ms. Mary Ann. Good evening, Charles.
Good evening, Board, Mayor. I'll take both these together if I may. Consideration to accept the quote from Mighty Fresh as the lowest and best quote received in the amount of $400 for the rental of portable toilets for the Brandon Jubilee Days. The second quote was received from Fusion Site in the amount of $9,690. Number 2, request permission to approve sponsorship in the amount of $2,500 for Brandon Chambers Lemonade Day for the purpose of promoting the city and its resources.
Thank you much. Is there a motion to approve those 2 items? Motion by Ms. Jerry Crane, second by Ms. Sharon Womack. Any question on either of those? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Just 12 items?
Yeah, it's a light night. Good evening, Board, Mayor. Number 12, well, I'd request your permission to take 1 through 10 to 11 together. 12, there's a slight modification. I'd like to scratch subpart 2 out entirely.
We'll talk about it when we get to it. Let's do 1 through 11 and see if we got anything else we need to work on.
All right, 1 through 11. Here we go. 1, consideration to approve the following Public Works Department employee to house a city vehicle, Dalton Reynolds, General Laborer 3. 2, consideration to approve the hire of Van Cruxton as a part-time Laborer 2 employee in the Public Works Department with pay set in accordance with the attached memo effective April 21, 2026, pending completion of all pre-employment requirements. 3, consideration to accept the letter of resignation from Tobias Harvey, wastewater laborer 1, effective April 29th, 2026. 4, consideration to award the lowest and best bid for the restriping of the Brandon Amphitheater parking lots to 4B Construction in the amount of $17,384.90. A second quote was received from Arkansas Fence and Guardrail. It was 19,000 and some change. Let me get the exact amount. It was $19,331.30.
And those funds will come out of the amphitheater operational fund, not the 2%. Okay.
5, consideration to approve the purchase of 36-inch Class 3 B-wall reinforced concrete drainage pipe, the material only, from Dunn Utility Products as the lowest and best quote for the Rain Tree Drainage Improvement Project. That would be change order number 1's materials in the amount of $10,553. The second quote was received from Southern Pipe and Supply. When did we, okay. That quote from Southern Pipe and Supply was $12,278.40. 6, consideration to approve pay request 2 in the amount of $128,922.15 from Valdez Pavement Solutions LLC for the Felicity Street Sidewalk Improvements Project and authorized payment of the same. 7, consideration to approve pay request 1 in the amount of $136,049.50 from Porton Construction Company for the Heights Drive roadway and drainage improvements project and authorized payment of the same. 8, consideration to approve the following items from Griner Drilling Service for the Cornerstone Water Well project. That was 1, the final summary change order at a reduction of $64,280 in the final project costs, an additional 76 calendar days, and authorize the mayor to execute the same. And 2, the final pay request 7 in the amount of $146,842.36 and authorize the payment of the same. 9, consideration to approve pay request 8 in the amount of $18,430 $2.97 from Thornton Construction Company for the Grants Ferry Parkway Shared Youth Path LPA project and authorize payment of the same. 10, consideration to approve pay request 1 in the amount of $145,563.75 from Jose Sierra Construction for the Cornerstone Drive storm drain replacement project and authorize payment of the same. 11, consideration to approve the following for the 2024 Diamond Emerald Sewer Rehabilitation Project. 1, authorize pay request 1 in the amount of $13,409.25 from BLD Services and authorize payment of the same. And 2, authorize request for cash 1 to the Mississippi Development Authority for the reimbursement for funds as approved through the CDBG grant process and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
Got a question?
I'm pulling it out for you, Mark, because I knew you'd ask. Here, Mark, I'm going to have to.
I'm not seeing it in the number, that's why
I'm not seeing it in my set either, unfortunately. I'll get it for you by the end of the night. Yeah, it's the minutes, right? Or I'll get it for the board by the end of the night.
Mark,
I'm not sure what happened here. Cash 1, I think, is the same.
bottom.
I mean,
Says request for cash at the top of the form.
I'm not sure. We might have to just bring that one back.
We don't need to put it off to May. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can-
We'll give him a few minutes. We'll come back to it after executive session. That's a good idea. Chris. You good with it?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do that.
1 through 10. Alex?
Correct. 1 through 10.
Board, while we're catching up, on number 6, some of you probably noticed some nice handrail along Highway 80 in front of Burgers and Blues. Did that to protect children. I also noted that kind of need the same thing in front of Flying Dolly's Ice Cream and kind of the same thing in front of the Pizza Shack. That's an account that we're trying to zero out, and I think there's a few extra dollars in there, Tracy. I can't remember which project bond that was, but my plans are if there's any extra money in that project bond, we're going to put those in front of those two places too for a little added security. Okay. So, and then in front of Burgers and Blues, that will go all the way down to the coffee shop. And what's in there will come out. And so I believe it'll dress it up, make it a little bit safer on the sidewalk. All right, you got it?
Yep. 1 through 10 is what
through
I'm
10.
asking you to consider.
Okay, you're ready. So it's asked for 1 through 10. Is there a motion to approve 1 through 10? Motion by Ms. Sharon Womack, second by Mr. David Ferris. Is that right? Thank you all. Any other questions, comments? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, now we're going to talk about number 12. You said you had a modification in there?
Yes. So with 12, I'd still ask the board to consider Part 1. However, Part 2, awarding the lease purchase to Sinclair Leasing, they weren't able to meet those finance terms as they originally quoted us. So I'm going to have to go seek additional vendors for financing, reach out to other banks. So at this time,
Could you explain to me, the person you've been working with quit and left, and the company couldn't honor that or something like that?
correct. The company previously had a relationship with a bank that they were going to secure that funding from, and his contact is no longer there. So in the interest of time, he wasn't able to reach out to anybody else to meet those terms that he originally offered us.
All right, so you want to scratch number 2?
Yes,
And just
2.
act on number 1.
However, we will need to consider number 1.
Mark? You good?
So, this is the status of the purchase.
So we have one from one bank, that would be Community, and I've reached out to a Hancock and another bank.
Yeah, okay, so back to the bid.
On the street sweeper itself? Yes, they're still going to honor that.
Well, what we're doing is a lease purchase, right?
Correct, now we are.
Well,
Yeah.
why would we be revising the action to purchase that under terms of a lease purchase with finance separate? In other words, it's 2 separate actions, and we don't have to avoid the whole thing. We just want to, because before we did it, we did a finance, and then we realized we couldn't do that. But what we're doing right now is a lease purchase, right?
Correct, we're seeking lease purchase quotes, yes.
So we can accept that purchase, subject to the lease purchase financing.
We've already accepted the purchase of the,
Now, we accepted something else.
we accepted the bid and the,
One action, though.
right. We accepted the purchase of the street sweeper and to seek financing for, maybe the bid and financing for,
We accepted this week and approved the finance. Okay?
mhm.
What we want to do now is just rescind the financing aspect of it.
Yes.
Keep the approval of the sweeper, get to work, because we can only give you some money on the repurchase.
Correct.
So we want to revise the action of the board on April 4 to reflect that, right? Tracy, you back up? Mary Ann? April 6th. So we're going to revise board action for item H4 on April 6th meeting to reflect purchase,
Lease purchase.
approval of the bid, right? Purchase, subject to lease purchase, right? You know that? And the law says we got to have 2 quotes, right? So could we, just ask them, what do you think? Are we on track here? So we're going to rescind the action.
Right, just the financing terms, the conventional 4-year financing terms. Yep. Thank you, Mary Ann.
So we're still good on that, we just got to bring that back.
That, and yes.
Okay, is everybody caught up? Sort of, semi, almost? That's all right, I know, get it right.
That's the street sweeper, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So all we're doing right now is just rescinding that action on the financing side.
Correct.
And what I was thinking out loud about, though, was this is right or wrong, we authorize the mayor and city clerk to accept the best, lowest, best, term as obtained by the city clerk. Trying to, you think we'll have it by the next meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
I'd rather you wait till the next meeting.
Yeah. But
I don't want to
Yeah, we need to be able to review the,
Yeah, I'd rather just be sure, 100%.
Yep, you're right, man. Thank you. Okay, I know.
All right. So we are voting then to do what?
Consider board action on item H4 on 2026 regarding the financial status of persons.
All right. Any further discussion? Is there a motion to approve that action? Motion by Mr. Harry Williams, second by Mr. Jared Crane. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, Board. Board, you want me to get to work on figuring out, getting a professional opinion on College Street and 468? Okay. Okay. So if you give me permission to do that, I'll get, I'll work up something and get with that. And just give me some permission to spend some money with Benchmark, and I'll get that. We'll have that for the next board meeting. I hope, well, probably take longer than that, because they're going to probably take, honestly, 6 weeks by how much work that they got going, but I'll get on it.
What are you asking?
I'm asking to go out there and do survey work and come up with a cost analysis on both of those to figure out what both of them might cost. Not to put them out for bid. Yeah, that's what I'm asking for.
But I would also like Kaiser
Yeah.
to do a traffic study on that alternate. Because he told us that it would reduce the congestion by 60%.
I'll get him to come back for the next meeting. He's agreeable to doing that because both of those were his, and let him express it in his own terms, okay? So, let's see here. For the College Street and 468 intersection, Highway 468, South College. Yeah, just do an analysis of, preliminary cost analysis, not put it out for bid, but get you close enough to where the next thing you would do is develop bid documents. Sure. Yes, that sounds perfect. Tracy, if you would, remind me, make a note on your, please. All right, is there a motion to move forward with that study? Motion by Ms. Sharon Womack.
Second.
Second, Mr. Chris Benson. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, board. We'll get on that. All right. What else? You got number 12?
that's it.
You done?
I'm writing, I'm sorry.
All right. Joey?
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
May I take all 5 together?
Yes, sir.
Y'all turned this mic up, didn't you? This thing's loud.
Just for you.
At least I don't have to kiss it anymore, Mayor. Number 1, consideration to receive and file the Planning Commission minutes dated March 23rd, 2026. Number 2, consideration to approve the hire of Mr. Cole Smith. I believe he's in the audience here. I think all of y'all shook hands already. As a code enforcement officer with the start date of May 4th, 2026, and set compensation in accordance with the memo. Number 3, consideration to approve travel for Cassie Burnett and Joseph Moran to attend the Mississippi Association of Code Enforcement, the 2026 Summer Conference in Biloxi, Mississippi, August 11th through 14th in 2026, with expenses to be paid from the training budget. Number 4, consideration to approve the final plat for Brookfield subdivision, case number 24028, subject to the conditions stated in the memo and staff report. And number 5, consideration to approve a comprehensive sign plan for Texaco located at 915 West Government Street. This is case number 26021, subject to the conditions stated in the memo and staff report.
Thank you, sir. It's all right. Questions?
What are the conditions on Brookfield? Is anything, I know
On which one? I'm sorry. On Brookfield? Yes, sir. So when this was submitted initially to meet that deadline of submittal, there were 2 fire hydrants that were requested to be installed. They needed new water sampling, pressure test. There was an issue with the BTR language as adopted when it was initially approved for preliminary plat. The allowable rental was 25%, if y'all recall, when we adopted the BTR and provisions and the recent March 16th adoption. We brought that number down to 5%, so I requested they updated that number to reflect 5% rentals in a non-BTR development. So, and there was at the time, there was a warranty statement that was still being reviewed by Public Works. It was my understanding that it was pretty good. I think staff has since said it was okay, but at the time, those were those conditions, just to make sure.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Baker, you good? Okay, thank you. Motion to approve, Mr. Harry Williams, second, Mr. David Ferris. Any further question or comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Joey. Chief?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have 4 items. Can I take them together?
Yes, sir.
All right, number 1, request consideration for the following officers to travel for training. Officer Piran Taylor to travel to Biloxi, Mississippi on May 5th through 7th, 2026 to attend the 2026 Spring Storm Conference and Awards Banquet. There's no fee for the conference or room. We will reimburse his meals with the training budget. Officers Nicholas Purnell and Officer Josh Jones to travel to Stapleton, Alabama to participate in the Advanced Patrol Tactics Training Course on August 26th through 28th, 2026. Lodging and meals will be funded through the department's training budget. Accept the resignation of the following employees. Caitlin Ferguson is a patrolman trainee, effective April 6, 2026. Josh Carter is a reserve police officer, effective April 7, 2026. Joshua LaFleur is a dispatcher, effective April 15, 2026. Number 3, consideration for Officer Lane McTaggart to travel to Marion, Arkansas on April 21st, 2026 to pick up training equipment for K-9 Denver. And number 4, consideration to hire Jonathan McCardle, if you would, Jonathan, stand up and wave, as a patrol officer for the city of Brandon, effective April 21st, 2026, and set his rate of pay in accordance with the memo. And if we can get him sworn in after the board meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, we'll take care of that.
During the board meeting,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
We got a patrol car waiting up for him out there right now.
Oh, yes, sir. He's ready to go.
All right, is a motion to approve those 4?
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Jerry Crane, second by Ms. Sharon Womack. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you,
Thank
board.
you. We'll swear him in just a moment. Hello, Chief.
Hello. I'm going to take all 5 of mine together.
Yes, sir.
Item number 1 is request consideration for Captain Ray Husband, Lieutenant Daniel Mavis, and Firefighter Taylor Sellers to travel to Pueblo, Colorado, participate in a tank car specialist class from July 5th, 2026 to July 11th, 2026. As one of the FEMA paid classes. Consideration to approve Carolyn Palmer to travel to Biloxi, Mississippi to attend the Emergency Services Administrative Professionals Association Conference, September 8th through 11th, 2026. Item number 3 is request consideration to travel to Ocala, Florida for final inspection of the new ladder truck and engine. For myself, Chief King, Chief Stranger, Captain Husband, and Captain Webb. I don't have a solid date on that yet. We're waiting for confirmation from E1, but we're looking at maybe the first full week of May. And we're looking at probably delivery in Brandon on the first week of June.
Okay. All righty, thank you.
Item number 4 is request consideration to increase the salary for firefighter Mason Boyd from firefighter trainee to firefighter effective April 20th, 2026 due to his passing of the Firefighter 1001 program certification from the State Fire Academy. Item number 5, request consideration to purchase a Life Pack 15 version 4 utilizing EMSOF money from Stryker Sales LLC is having the lowest bid and authorized payment of the same.
All right, thank you, Chief. Is there a motion to approve those 5 items? Motion by Ms. Sharon Womack.
Second.
Second, Mr. Chris Benson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Do we have a question? Okay. Which begs, Tracy and Mary Ann, we're going to have the financing, whatever's remaining on that. We need to have that prepared for May, first board meeting in May, so the board can take action on it as close as we can get it. Okay. So, all right, good, great. All right, you're done. All right. Board will swear that gentleman in, and then need a motion to go to determine the necessity of being in executive session. Motion by Mr. David Ferris, second by Mr. Chris Benson. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, let's get done with the board meeting. Let's get done with the board meeting first. All right, here we go. So, hang on. If we could, let's just hang on just a second. We got 2 or 3 things to talk about here. Mark, help me out, please.
Okay, first, let me just do it. The first is to,
Brandon, Public Works, Facilities.
hire Brandon Grubb. Facility Director. Facilities Director. Effective May 4th. And set rate of pay according to the memo. I'm gonna do my
Please. Board also planning the mayor's prayer breakfast on May the 7th, Thursday, which coincides with National Day of Prayer. Marcus will be getting you something to advertise with on that as well.
I'll say I'll read that line in a minute. Effective, what's the effective date? Effective as determined.
As determined after the discussions
at the earliest opportunity.
at the earliest opportunity. Sounds good. Use that on Dustin as well.
And set rate of pay. Mayor, the 4 items to add to the agenda for consideration by the board. There was one vote taken in executive session. But the items would be to hire Brandon Grubb as Public Works Director, Facilities Director, effective May 4, 2026, and set rate of pay according to the memo. Hire Cliff Speaks as Website Manager, effective at the earliest opportunity, and set rate of pay in accordance with the memo. Hire Dustin Hinkle as Communications Director, effective at the earliest opportunity, and set rate of pay in accordance with the memo, and to accept the resignation of Chief Joseph French, effective May 31, 2026.
Need a motion on all those at once? Group, is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Harry Williams, second Mr. Lou Coker. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, board. All right, board, again, Thursday, May 7th is the mayor's prayer breakfast. Coincides with National Day of Prayer, and Jubilee days are coming up April 30th through Sunday. That Sunday afternoon, May 3rd. Enjoy that. Hope to see you out there. Yes, sir.
We have one item. Alex is supposed to get an answer to a question.
Thank you. Thank you for that reminder.
Thank you.
Am I going? Lou's going like that.
So, number 2, the approved request for cash one, municipal development authority for the emergency fund. That's a request that CDBG is submitting on our behalf to the city development authority, which is the true grant. Facilitator, provider. I guess CDBG is the facilitator of the grant. NBA is going to provide the match. So that match here
$8.09. Okay. Got it. So that'd be items 11.1 and 2, right? Okay.
Motion approved.
Further discussion or clarification? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay. So any other business come before us this evening? Is there a motion to adjourn until May 4? Motion. All right, motion by Ms. Sharon Womack, second Ms. Jerry Crane. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, board, for your patience tonight.
Pass that from down there, I don't know what it is.